explanation on why the weather acts and is acting in the ways that it's acting from wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? The whole global warming, the world about to completely, shift, some people burning or something like that. Basically the big dramatic weather that's kind of happening right now that we all experience. Right? Now, let's just start this from a basis. Now, we all know when too much of anything is too close together, it's gonna cause friction, and that's gonna cause heat. So heat comes from, not that heat is just a light and just fire. It's more that heat is like something that you push out, like a dagger type thing, right? So knowing this, it's like you are the one that's kind of controlling the temperament of something before it reaches a temperature, and it started with you putting yourself in that situation. So friction and heat, fire, all that is having to do with you projecting out something, or you going through the surface of something to see it for what it acts or is, or the midst of it, or the expression in it, or the start of it. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna just take me into the temperament of it, right? So by creating temperament, you get temperature. So we need to know that we create temperament first, and the way you create temperament is creating certain subconscious feelings / subconscious ways of you used to moving type thing, right? So if you're used to being afraid of certain circumstances that you get into, then you're gonna your body is subconsciously, without you consciously going down and making yourself, why am I feeling like this? You know what I'm saying? It's that right there is your subconscious, and that's what causes your body to have temperature in the second, like after the fact. But it started with the temperament of just you being affected by the environment in whatever way you are, and that can be in the smallest level, conversation, just the way somebody is, or just what somebody might be wearing. Like, it can be anything. Just know it could be the lighter things that you can't see, and it could be the things that you can see too. So now, that's a breakdown of just the temperament and temperature. I have a video on this though. So we need to know, if you can create this within yourself, when you start to pinpoint and notice these things, then you'll, you know what I'm saying, you can figure it out yourself. Then this means we can create temperature and temperament and then temperature on a broader level. Because if you can do it with your body, when you're cold, when you hot, you know what I'm saying? When you get heated, what happens? You feel too much friction. You feel too much like too closed in or something. Like you need to push out. You need to fight back. You need to fire back, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So, to bring it back, this is pretty much the form of us coming together on a big, broad level. So let's say you're in a city, right? Let's say you're in a city. So however that city is pretty much vibrating, or just how that city is in the first place, just because of what's already been set there, because you need to know there's things before you. Obviously, that's why you got buildings and businesses. But from the vibe that was just there in the first place, now obviously it got altered through the times, but it's still back to support it, or it's still started from that vibe, and it takes a lot of work. Now, it's not saying you can't change, but if you don't know what's going on, then you can't change it. Now, whenever you're in a store or just a certain environment, if there's a lot of people and it's not a lot of space, that's gonna cause that environment to feel like it's a bit heated. It's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of change, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a store though, okay? So imagine this place, and then on a bigger level, like big cities, big towns all together. You accumulate temperament by you, even if you aren't by each other. All your fumes, all that aura, whatever you want to call it, is stuff that you pretty much build up. And whenever you interact and exchange it with the environment, or with the people you're around, plus the environment itself, is gonna cause a big temperament right there, from the environment itself, the whole itself, and then with you and the other person making a certain interaction to cause that temperature. But if you expand the amount of people, expand the many amounts of people, you're gonna get a big amount of some type of temperature. And this was what leads me into, and now that's on a smaller level in the stores. I probably already said that, but and so and now bring this into like I said, a whole big town, a whole neighborhood, shit, a whole metroplex. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole metro, a whole section of a state. You know what I'm saying? This is why certain parts of your state or certain cities can be raining, or certain cities can be cloudy, and then other parts can be super sunny. You know what I'm saying? Shit, certain in the same area, it can be raining in certain areas, and then it'll be sunny right in the other area. You know what I'm saying? If you live in, you know, Florida or something like that, you know, Arizona or something, so or Texas, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you create temperament, and that's gonna cause the temperature to pretty much change, because we need to know that temperature and the clouds and precipitation all comes from the water cycle. And the water cycle is just from water being accumulated and water being released in different types of atmospheres. That's why you got the water vapor, you got the actual precipitation, you got the clouds, you got the ice, you got, you know what I'm saying, it's different forms. So right, so that is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much how me, you, and everybody create the weather. And this is gonna get me into why we are pretty much having this weather go in this way. Because first of all, we need to know that the people that have already been here to know the resources and how to run the world, because somebody got to run it. Everybody knows it's a leader, whatever you want to call it, right? Well, right. So they don't really know. But I mean, it's not really our fault. But at the end of the day, we're still secondhand playing into what has already been set out. Just like the people that gave it to us, that had the resources, set it out for us, they got it from somebody that set it out for them, you know? So, I mean, the only thing we can do is realize what's been set out, or just participate in that and just constantly just figure out forms within inside of it. I mean, figure out forms, yeah, within it, and hopefully you'll figure out, oh, you're within something, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, me, you, and everybody around you create the temperament, and that it turns into a temperature. So if you have a lot of cold weather in your town, or a lot of snow in your town, just know you are extremely, or your town is extremely distant as far as motion, and as far as anything going on, as far as interactions, like, you know, transactions, conversation, heated conversation, friction, you know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. So so if you lack all of that, that means it's a whole bunch of openness. See, look, openness and distance is and stillness is like cold. So anytime you're in a place that's like that, that's kind of the temperament of everything. It's kind of distant. It ain't like it's too much going on. Now, vice versa, if you go into Arizona, if you go into Texas, if you go into New Mexico, you're gonna be hot. If you go to Nevada, you're gonna be hot. That's because now, from the position it's in also, you know, as it relates to the sun, and, you know, whatever you want to say, but really it's just the temperament of how everybody in that area is. And there's a lot more people when it comes to the cities. Now, there's a lot of more open desert, but, you know, that's kind of just that's the temperament that was already there. A lot of dry, harsh, heated, so it's almost like, okay, it's a lot of dusty, dried up, hot, dry type of feeling. So that's almost like people that be straight up reality based, they're not trying to be connected, people that don't want to see what you're saying if they can't actually see in reality, people that don't play that talking here and there, or don't play that emotion, you know, they want to just say, okay, what is, what ain't, you know, like, you know, that type of temperament will kind of be in that area, you know what I'm saying? So sum it all up, it's the temperament first turns into the temperature, which you can do, what you have within you, and you come together, and I mean, you come together with other people and you make it a way bigger spectrum, and that's how you can get all these unbalanced these clouds and stuff like that. But that brings me to say, that's why these weathers are so bad, because the environment that's been set out ain't applicable to what we're turning into. So at the end of the day, we're kind of just frictiony, and we're not really going nowhere, because we're not realizing that the very environment itself is like messed up. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing else